Welcome back into the Dead Arm Sports Podcast. Josh and Jill here after a 2.5 week, I guess vacation, we'll call it. I don't know what else
little
to
hiatus,
say.
but that's all right.
But we're back better than ever. And you know who else is back, Jill? Timmy! Timmy is going back to Gonzaga. So for all of you out there listening,
news.
Yes, we will be able to talk about Timmy for another year in college.
Okay, really quick on that. He could have gone to the NBA, right? Like, I mean, he probably wouldn't have been a high-end pick, but he probably could have gone to the NBA. I'm think about these NIL deals that are probably lining up big time for Big Timmer.
Oh yeah, with that that's gotta be rolling in something. But
like Manscaped, come on, this is perfect. Manscaped should be all over Timmer.
Yes. I think a lot of the projections I saw for NBA mock drafts had him like late second round. So he's probably going back thinking, hey, maybe I can crack the first with a nice productive season again. And Gonzaga is always a perennial favorite. So why not?
I saw a report too. His teammate Chet Holmgren right now may be the favorite to go number one of the Magic. That's apparently who the Magic want. I don't know. I mean, how much have you seen? You know Chet Holmgren is that long, skinny, like guy that's probably about 7 feet tall, probably weighs about 130. I mean, he's all skin and bones.
Yeah, he's gonna I
just feel nervous about taking somebody like that at one.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a concern. I mean, you see, and maybe you can bulk up though too. It's a lot easier to add pounds than it is for guys that come in overweight and they're trying to lose it. So
look at Zion. When Zion came into the league, there were concerns about his weight. The athleticism is obvious, but the weight was the concern, and he struggled with injuries. So I guess, yeah, you're right. And Giannis, when Giannis first came into the league, he was, maybe not as skinny as Chet, but he was still pretty twiggy. And now he's built like a freaking statue. So hopefully, I mean, Chet's probably not going to get to Giannis type of size, but we'll see. Maybe he can get bulk up a little bit. That's a big dude, but he's got skills. So
skills that kills.
Skills to pay the bills.
Nice. All right, Jill, you have our question of the day today. So curious and ready to hear it.
Yeah. So by now, probably most people have heard about this Tommy Pham, Jock Peterson deal where Tommy Pham went up pregame in a game against the Giants and went up to Jock Peterson and slapped him like hard, like a legitimate slap. Like harder than the Chris Rock, Will Smith deal. It was legit. And we found out it was over a fantasy football altercation. Details on it were Tommy Pham got upset because Jock put somebody that was hurt onto his IR slot and then picked somebody up.
Essentially,
which is legal.
The player had been ruled out for the week, and so Jock moved the player that had been ruled out with a little O next to his name into an IR spot so that he could pick somebody else up.
But that was legal within the ESPN league that they're in.
Yep.
ESPN # not a sponsor. And so I don't know what Tommy Pham, why he had an issue with that because it was clearly a completely legal move within their league rules. He just sounds like a sore loser. He's been stabbed outside of clubs before and shit. So like this guy's just a hothead. And this is not his first altercation. So, but ultimately, my question to you, would you rather be slapped as hard as Tommy Pham slapped Jock Peterson in public and be humiliated in that fashion, or have a drink thrown on you and be publicly humiliated that way?
What's the temperature, and am I inside or outside?
No, these are all things to consider. Break it down for me.
I mean, if it's like a hot day, I wouldn't really care. I don't think if a drink was thrown over me. If I was wearing some nice clothes or something or like that, I'd be a little mad. But oh man, I'd probably have to go with the drink. I don't, unless somebody had like I don't know, some like red drink that just
So
like
that's exactly, that's literally what I was, that's
sight.
literally what I was going to ask. Okay. Follow-up question, strawberry margarita. Now, what do you say? Cause that's going to ruin, that's going to make you sticky. It's going to ruin your clothes. What if it's 2:00 in the afternoon and you're
out for the day and not,
you know, like you're out for the day, you're not going back.
Yeah. I mean, you have a fun story to tell everybody else with that.
That's not, yeah, but I mean, you're sticky, your hair is all, you know, you touch your face and it's sticky.
Yeah. But there probably hasn't been a drink I haven't spilled on myself at some point in time. I mean, I'm just thinking of all the stupid things.
But you've never had a drink thrown at you. That's the part that's human. That's the public humiliation piece that has to be considered here.
I mean, is it a plastic cup? Because I mean, if it's anything in glass,
well, no, it's. I mean, I'm not saying they're throwing the whole glass at you. Jesus, that's assault, brother.
I mean, Tommy Pham might.
Okay, good point. He would just break the glass over your head. No, I mean, like just thrown at you. You know, just the liquid itself. I'm not. Yeah. We're not throwing glass at each other.
No. Okay.
I just have to. It's hard to. You can't say one. You can't say one or the other necessarily. Like if it's a vodka tonic, like whatever, it just probably looks like water and you smell like vodka for the rest of the night. If it's a strawberry margarita, I'd probably rather get slapped and just, wear that red on my face all night rather than the strawberry margarita on my face all night.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the slap too is kind of like, nobody just goes up and slaps anybody. So everybody's probably going to think the slapper is in the wrong for doing that anyways and coming to
Especially, it sounds like it was like a cold clock kind of slap, saying, like a total punk move.
Yeah. And who holds a grudge over fantasy football? Something stupid like that for
Well, it depends how much money you got on the line. I mean, I get it if it's, if it's you and me or there's people that get pissed off over $25 leagues, $50 buy-ins to the point where there's fights and there's like people that break up in leagues over that kind of stuff. These are professionals. They're probably talking about $100,000 buy-in.
We can't forget the fact too that Tommy Pham threw Mike Trout under the bus for being the worst commissioner ever.
Did you see? Yeah. Trout responded saying, I'm pretty sure every commissioner in any sport of all time has gotten booed and is disliked. So right. he took it. He didn't take too much offense to that, but
he didn't care.
I hope it's all a joke at this point, because it's so stupid, but damn, that was a legit slap.
Yeah. And to get suspended for 3 games too, that's kind of embarrassing.
$114,000 in game checks from that suspension. So he lost his money from the league and those paychecks. That's a tough, that's a price to pay for that.
Yes.
That's a tough one. Hey, by the way, welcome back. I know you just got back from Portland.
Hashtag PNW. Got my PNW hat on for all the listeners out there. So,
did you happen to see Phil Knight out there?
I did not.
He's.
If I didn't recognize him. So,
yeah, I heard today that he just put in a bid to $2 billion bid to buy the Portland Trailblazers. So. I guess he owns Nike. He basically owns the Oregon Athletic Department at this point. He's trying to buy the Blazers. He might as well just buy the entire state of Oregon at this point. But welcome back. And it's, been a nice little hiatus. I need to apologize to the listeners. I wasn't able to put anything out, any Just Jellins. I know I wanted to, but my voice has been trash. There's still a little bit of raspiness in it. Sure. But my voice has been garbage, so I gave it a rest last week. But back at it, there's still a little raspiness there. But if you hear any voice cracking, that's a byproduct of, I guess, this shit that I've been dealing with for the last week or so.
Or maybe it's the crackling fire in the background.
That's it. That smoke.
If you haven't seen The Fire yet, you got to check us out on YouTube Live. We stream every episode when we record. Also on YouTube after the fact, it'll come out the next day. We can be found at Dead Arm Sports, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Dead Arm Sports. Take a look there. Gel can be found at Das Gel. That's at DASJEL. I can be found at Das JPEG. That's at DASJPEC. Send us in any questions that you have during our live streams. We have the chat box up ready to go, so you can ask us a question. We will keep an eye and keep that monitored, and we will answer it on the show. Subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite listening platform. Send us a screenshot of that review. Get you some sticker swag sent out in the mail for free. Gel, what are you sipping on?
Well, I've got my sipper is a good old Miller Latte, Miller
Ooh.
Lite.
Hardly know her.
Good old 16 ouncer. Got the tall boys.
Oh
yeah.
Not messing around today.
Getting down to business.
Like it. I am rocking a High Noon Guava. So it's out of their pool pack, I believe. Yeah. It's interesting. Can't say I've ever had anything guava before, but it's not bad.
Somebody offered me guava at my work today. Wanted me to buy some guava. I said no.
Well,
interesting.
There you have it. Yeah. Do you want to give a shout out to one of the breweries that I was at, one of the many that I visited while I was in Portland, and it's Migration Brewing Mohasic and 6.1 hazy IPA, best hazy IPA I've had. So shout out to you, Migration Brewing. Yes, it was fantastic.
Hell yeah.
And I was super sad because I didn't have room in my bag to bring the remaining 3 cans of the 6-pack I brought home. Had some at the brewery and tried to pound down as many as I could, but didn't want to be hungover for a 6:45 a.m. flight the next day.
Oh, come on. Fair.
Jill and I also have another beer that is room temperature, so that is sitting next to us. We'll get to that in a little bit here, but got a big show for you. Going to talk quite a bit of golf. A lot of golf news has come out lately. Touch on a little bit of NFL at the end of the show, and if we have time today, give a quick MLB recap and some highlights from the past couple weeks since we last touched on MLB. But last episode we gave our PGA Tour picks and got to start off with that recap at Southern Hills and got a thrilling finish, nice playoff and major championship, which you always love to see. Justin Thomas versus Will Zalatoris, and JT ends up coming away with a victory. So kind of righting the ship. I kind of want to see at least your takeaways from this. Justin Thomas has put together some solid rounds. One that's memorable to me is the one from the Players Championship earlier this year, windy, rainy conditions, and goes out and just shoots absolutely lights out, low 60s, and just hasn't really put it all together throughout an entire tournament. So, but he obviously did for the major this time around and looked good. Do you put him up there now for somebody that you're looking to take or throw money down on for US Open and British Open later this year?
I love him in probably both of those tournaments. I think that he's ready. I can't say that he's going to go out and win both of them or either of them. That's just too hard to predict. But I see top 5s, top 10s, no question with JT. I mean, he didn't have the hottest Thursday through Saturday, but his Sunday was just ridiculous. And hopefully he found something. I mean, I heard a story that Bones, his caddy, basically Bones came out. Bones was previously Phil. He was Phil's caddy, correct?
Yeah, he's kind of hopped around.
He's had a number of different.
I think he was with Adam Scott after Phil, if I'm not mistaken, for a little bit.
So he's well known throughout the golf community.
Yes.
He's probably the most well known caddy, at least just probably because you can just say, "Hey, Bones," and people know who you're talking about.
Him or Fluff.
And but Bones basically said, "Look, he was retired before he took over for JT, and the story is that he came out of retirement. He said, "There's one guy that I would caddy for. That's the only way that I would consider coming out of retirement, and that's for Justin Thomas." And It apparently it's a match made in heaven getting JT getting his major this year, but also he said before that Sunday round, he told JT, "You're the best golfer in the world. You have a great chance here. So just go out, don't think too much, go out, play your game, but just know that you're the best golfer in the world. So just do your thing." And we saw kind of how that worked out. Obviously, getting the win. Got a big helping hand from Mr. Mito Pereira, who had on 18, went into 18 with 18 on Sunday with a 1-stroke lead, and took out his driver on 18 and shanked it about as far left as he could. And I'll see if I can find it on and post it up on the Twitter page, but God, that was about the ugliest swing I've ever seen. It looked like me, at least from a PGA Tour guy, So he clearly just, he's never won a big tournament, and he kind of seemed like he kind of tightened up a little bit and just cranked it hard left. There was no smoothness to that swing, and that he ended up doubling 18, and then JT and Zalatoris ended up in the playoff. Into the playoff at the after 18.
Yeah.
Is it an automatic 3? So they went into a 3-hole playoff. Is that an automatic 3-hole playoff in the PGA Championship? Because I know some tournaments they do that.
Some are goofy because I believe the US Open, it's like a full 18 holes the next day.
That's
or something
right.
Ridiculous like that. I don't know insane. The PGA though. I'd have to look that up.
And they may have just tied the first two and gone on to the third, but it was a 3-hole playoff with JT getting the 1-stroke lead over Zalatoris.
Yeah. One big takeaway from this tournament, Tiger Woods ends up making the cut and has to withdraw on that Saturday round. What are your thoughts there? I mean, do you see this more as precautionary so he can still play in the other majors this year? Is this something that we definitely need to keep an eye on with the US Open being 2 weeks from today when we're recording live on a Thursday?
On a Thursday.
So, yeah, I mean, it was one of those that we were kind of expecting this result at the Masters, just with how hilly Augusta National is, how tough it is to walk, and Southern Hills, no slouch either. There's a few hills there, mostly flat for the most part, but yeah, it wasn't great to see during his first round or second round. It looked like he had tweaked it a little bit. He was hobbling, and I think it just kind of progressively got worse as the week went on.
I think that's what happened. And we saw on Saturday, I believe, a 9 over. He had a couple triples in that round. I think it was probably the right decision to decide to withdraw there. It's not like he ever had a chance to win.
No.
So he was so far back, and he played so poorly Saturday, and it was very obvious that leg was bothering him. So I think it was the right decision for him to withdraw. It makes me, though, I don't know if he's going to, because we saw this in the Masters too. His first 2 days, he looked fine. And then it was Saturday, Sunday where he fell off. This time, his Thursday was fine. Friday, not great. And I think it was that Friday when he tweaked. You could visibly see that he tweaked something. Yeah. And then Saturday just fell apart. I don't think I want any part of him in the US Open. It's just, I don't see how he can finish a tournament. That's the thing right now. And he's made the cut both times he's come out this year, but he's just, once we get to Saturday, Sunday, he's fallen off. So I probably wouldn't want really much to do with him in this tournament, given that it's only a month since he just withdrew and obviously visibly injured. We'll see at the British Open, see how he, kind of see how he looks, how I'm feeling about it at that point. But I don't think I want to touch him for the US Open.
No, I don't think so either, especially he had 3 weeks to rest in between that. And yeah, I'm not touching him. You and I both used him for our picks, so we won't have to debate if we want to worry about him or not. Yeah, he's off the board for both of us. But no, I don't think I'm comfortable with him regardless of what tournament he plays in this year. I think he needs to just kind of recoup and recover a little bit more, get his body a little bit stronger, and go from there with it. So he's strung together some positive golf, but again, he's been hobbled and just can't put together more than 2 rounds at a time, it seems like.
Speaking of our picks for the majors,
yeah,
why don't we dive into what we the shitstorm we put together?
Yeah. So just to recap for those that did not listen to that episode, Gel and I each pick a golfer that we go head to head, kind of snake style. So Gel had the first pick, went with Scotty Scheffler. I matched up DJ against him, and then I would have the next pick for our first or our second matchup. So just kind of going through like that. If a player misses the cut, it's no points. If players tie and both made the cut, you get a half point. And if you win your matchup, you get a full point. So kind of Ryder Cup style there. And had the big old tie. So Gel and I both got 0 points from the Scheffler DJ matchup. Both players missed the cut. I had the upper hand with Rory over Victor Hovland. Rory finished -2, Javi at +5. Gel had the upper hand with Brooks Koepka, who looked like he was going to absolutely shit the bed, but turned in a nice second round to make the cut. I had Kisner, who missed the cut, but Koepka ended up not doing well at all, +8, but got the point there with my missed cut.
Made the cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then Louis and Tiger ended up withdrawing, so he got a point there. And then I had the upper hand with Jordan Spieth, Morikawa. So ended up 2-2. So Gel and I are going to do a social here. Each have our warm beer, both rocking the Busch lattes today. And before we chug these, Gel, this is not golf related at all, but wanted to give a special shout out and dedicate our warm beer chug to these two fine gentlemen who just hung up their cleats. And after many, many NFL seasons, we've got Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick and the ever elusive Frank Gore. So Frank Gore going to be retiring as a 49er tomorrow. Fitting, where he started off his career, probably had more of his productive years there. But
yes, for sure.
Thought it was fitting, wanted to squeeze them into our show here today. So wanted to dedicate our warm beer chug to Fitzy and Frank.
You know
Gore.
what Ryan Fitzpatrick should do, since he can't really retire with any of his NFL teams? He should sign a one-day contract with the University of Harvard, where he went to school.
That wouldn't be bad.
NIL, baby.
Love it. That would be awesome.
All right. Well, off to, well, here's to Fitzmagic, and here's to Frank the Tank, hopefully future Hall of Famer. Number three in rushing yards all time. Which time. Is how long was his career? Feels like it was like 19 years or something.
I mean, I feel like it was since I've been born. I've been watching him play football, so I'm not even sure.
All right, buddy.
All right. Cheers.
Here we go. Cheers. Oh, that gets harder at the end. Oh, nice and warm.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
That was a little skunky.
That was not great. Oh, man. I can drink Bushes all day out on the course, but it's different when it's nice and warm and you're sitting in an office chair.
Right. Yeah, not the same feeling there. That
not great, Bob.
Sure.
All right.
Touch on the Charles Schwab Challenge quick. I was on my honeymoon, so I'll be honest with the listeners. I did not get to watch much of this other than keeping track of it and just kind of score checking every once in a while. But ended up having a nice matchup, back-to-back weeks of a playoff, and Burns ended up beating Scotty Scheffler. So Burns has been having a pretty solid year last 2 years right now. So, I mean, is he somebody that you definitely need to keep an eye on for the future? I mean, Scotty obviously does. Scotty's run this year has been
Scotty did know this weekend.
Yes. But Sam Burns, I mean, is he somebody that you're looking to maybe win a major here in the next year or two?
I totally think that he has to be on that list of guys that can, because he kind of, he got his first win on the tour last year, comes back this year. I can't remember the tournament, but he went back to back, because he won it again this year, and then he got his first win outside of that tournament this past weekend. So, I mean, and he's been playing really, really good golf, really strong golf. I believe he's in that FedEx Cup top 10. And so anybody in that top 10, you have to think about, are they capable of winning a major? Sam Burns, why can't he? I mean, he's 25 years old, so he's still kind of figuring out the Valspar back-to-back years. That's right. So he's trying to, he's only 25. He's got a lot of golf left, still a lot to learn, but this is a lot of times for these really, these really strong golfers that end up making a high-end career out of their golfing. This is the age when they tend to break out. I mean, Scotty Scheffler, same thing, 25 years old. This was his breakout. Really, this was the year that he commanded, yes, I am, deserving of being the number one player in the world. So this is the time when a lot of these really good golfers end up breaking out. We saw probably around the same age with Rory as well. I mean, that's a ways back now, but Rory probably about the same age. So yeah, I mean, Burns is somebody that you definitely have to keep an eye on.
No, I agree completely. I think he's one of those that you could put into the same category as our expectations for Xander coming into this year. I think next year it's going to be that Sam Burns is the one that we're talking about. That is he going to break through and win a major championship? So, like you said,
throw Hovland into that mix. Same,
yeah.
We said the same thing about Xander and Hovland. Throw Sam Burns into that. Basically, that same group of young guys that have either won a couple tournaments or shown they're ready to break out, and now really you can say all three of them are that one major championship from really being on the board for being recognized as a top, one of the top names in golf.
Yeah, no,
the tippity top names, they're already up there, but the tip top names in golf. Burns now joins that group, I think, with Hav and Xander, and you could throw some other guys on there. We'll get into Taylor Gooch in a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was one that I was.
He would have been one of them.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with him. So
we'll see.
All right, so we are recording live on a Thursday.
The
Memorial kicked off today. This is Jack's Invitational Tournament, and at Muirfield Village in, I believe, Dublin, Ohio is where it's at.
Home of Brady Quinn, Dublin, Ohio.
Oh, jeez. There's a throwback.
Yeah, how about that?
Shout out to a shitty Fox Sports announcer in the mornings before the Big Ten kickoff.
I like Brady Quinn on there, but the host is just garbage. All that host
is garbage.
It's better. I mean, it's not better than Game Day, but the host, I don't know the guy's name. Rob Stone, maybe. Not throwing any names out here. Not trying to throw anybody under the bus. I think that's the right name though.
Gus Bus?
No, Gus is legit. Gus Johnson. Yes. Gus Johnson is awesome.
Gus.
Yeah, come on, let's go, baby. But no, I think Brady Quinn's fine. The host just ruins it because all he does is scream about everything. I guess they all do. I don't know. Whatever. I like Brady Quinn. He's got a good radio show.
Yeah, but no, strong field, as this is historically a strong field. So everybody wants to play in this tournament. It's one of the bigger tournaments outside of the majors to win. I mean, it's one that. Yeah, it's very iconic. And obviously when Jack Nicklaus is hosting, you want to win his tournament. So
I always love the when they before this tournament, they were showing they show the clip of Jack walking up to some I don't remember what golfer it is. It was some casual tournament. And the guy's like, I can't putt this. It was from 102 feet out. He's like, I can't putt this. Are you kidding me? And Jack's like, let me show you how to putt it. And he goes up, walks up to it, looks at the ball for about 2 seconds, knocks it in from 102 feet out. Insane. That's why he's Jack, just complete legend. But that's just an amazing video.
No, it'll be a fun tournament. I'm looking forward to Sunday. And yeah, I have something else I want to talk about, but let's get into our picks before I do, because it kind of revolves around our pick. Typically, this comes out on our Thursday podcast. Jell and I did text each other yesterday, and then I had to remind Jell this morning to make his pick. And luckily, the golfer he picked had not teed off yet. It was in the afternoon round. So how our picks work every week, starting with the Century Tournament of Champions, we pick a golfer, whatever that golfer shoots relative to par. That's a score you get. Got a running total going. Once you pick a golfer, can't pick them again. So trying to strategize when we're picking golfers, also cannot pick the same golfer as our opponent each week, whoever is in last place. I'll just say I get to pick every week, so I get to pick first. We'll just go there. I'm getting my ass kicked.
I think I'm up by 49. Is it 49 strokes right now? Something close to that?
Probably. I mean, yeah, give or take 10. I don't know. But I had to lock somebody in this week, and I'm locking in the former number one golfer in the world, Jon Rahm. And the reason I picked Jon Rahm is, I don't know if you remember, Jell, but last year in this tournament, Jon Rahm had an absolute commanding lead going into that Sunday round.
Ramalama ding dong.
Ramalama ding dong, yes. And as soon as he stepped off of the 18th green, the officials came up to him and told him he tested positive for COVID and had to withdraw from the tournament. So this was a tournament that he probably would have won last year and has historically played well. He won the tournament in 2020. So I was locking in Jon Rahm. Had a little bit of a disappointing up and down day today. Again, we're recording Thursday evening, so luckily we can kind of recap how our picks did. Even par right now, so definitely needs a big morning tomorrow to make the cut and get into it. But yeah, no, I like Jon Rahm.
He was looking really strong. He was at 2 under and then 17 and 18 he bogeyed to get him to 8.
Also, I believe, doubled 11. The par 5 had a nice 7 spot. So he was, without a couple of those, he would have been playing pretty solid. So just needs to, I mean, it's kind of been his MO this year, though. He just hasn't put it all together. So can you just do it once, John? Just one tournament besides the Mexico Open. I need to get back in this.
Really, with an actual field out there,
right?
With the real players.
Yes.
No, at some point you got to go Rahm. He just hasn't impressed me enough to pull the trigger on him finally. So, but at some point I'm going to have to go with him. I'm going to have to get him in on one of my picks. He's been pretty much the favorite in most tournaments that we've entered right now. And he's the favorite, or going into the tournament, he was the favorite at 9-1 to win the tournament. A couple other guys that are, just going to run through the top 5. Rory McIlroy at 10-1, Patrick Cantlay at 14-1. He had a pretty rough day. He finished at 2 over. Jordan Spieth, pretty good day. He's at 18-1. He finished, I believe, 2 under. And then Cameron Smith, who right now is tied for the lead at 5 under. He's an 18-1 favorite to win. A couple other names that we've seen that have kind of made a little bit of noise, especially lately. Will Zalatoris, 28-1. Cameron Young, 35-1. Right now, he's tied for the lead. No, I'm getting him and Cameron Smith confused. Take that back. Davis Riley at 40-1. And he's up there tied for the lead. But I was kind of and then I'm going to make my pick, and then, you know what? Let's just do this now. Hideki Matsuyama came into this at 25-1. He was disqualified because he took out his 3-wood, and they left white out on the face of his club, which is where, like, when he was doing practice rounds and stuff, they were trying to point out his, this is the point of contact where you need to be. And they left this white out on his club, on his 3-wood. I didn't
see what it was. I saw that he was disqualified due to an illegal club, but I didn't see exactly what it was. Wow.
So his caddy is going to be, his caddy's in trouble.
Deep shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. I mean, you gotta, Jesus, like not
great, Bob.
Not great, Bob. That caddy has to notice that and just wipe it off with a towel or something, spit on it, do the spit and wipe down. But yeah, pretty rough sledding for anybody that put any money down on Matsuyama. I was close to doing that. I actually put down sprinkled a little bit of cash on Zalatoris and on Davis Riley. So right now, Riley's up good, there so at
you
probably at 40 to 1.
Probably want Riley though, but his odds are a little.
I got him at plus 4,500. So on a $25 bet, that's a nice payday. Yeah. That's over 11 hundo. So I'm rooting Riley right now, and right now he's tied for the lead after the first round. Nice. And then I put a little bit of cash on Zalatoris, who's only one shot back at 25 to 1. So we'll see how this shakes out, but hopefully at least one of those paydays cashes.
Yeah, that'll pay for your bar tab at our golf outing coming up.
No, it won't. Not even close. Speaking of Zalatoris, I was going between two guys on who I wanted to pick, and two guys that had been so close to winning something, but really haven't won anything memorable. I mean, Zalatoris hasn't won any tournament yet. He's been so damn close. And then, and the other guy I was considering is Big Dick Victor Hovland, who he does have 3 tournament wins, but none that are really big. Definitely not any that are as big as the Memorial. He hasn't won any tournaments like this. I've already used Zalatoris.
I was gonna say you already used him.
Yeah. Which I didn't realize at the time. That was part of the delay. Why I had to, why I couldn't get my pick until this morning. But I already used Zal, so that simple process of elimination brings it to
checks out.
Brings me over to the Norwegian Victor Hovland for my pick. So
I love that pick. Yeah. This is a good course for him. Good iron player.
Exactly.
Again, chipping is definitely questionable, but he shouldn't need it that much. I believe he finished at -1 today, so you do have a shot lead right now. He kind of had an up and down day similar to Rahm. I know it seemed like he was going bogey birdie for a little bit of a stretch there on the back nine while I was watching today. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, both guys are definitely capable of winning this tournament. Need to have some solid morning rounds tomorrow, though, to get them into contention heading into the weekend.
No doubt. But we'll see. I mean, Rahm at some point has to get it together. So yes. I just know that Rahm, he's capable of just absolutely going off one day.
Yes.
So no lead is safe. No lead is safe.
Not at all. All right. We're going to transition over to some more golf, and it is the Super Golf League, AKA the Live. And we got a release of the names that have signed up to play in the first tournament. A couple surprises, I guess, as in DJ came out and had words.
Not DJ Jelly Gel.
Not DJ Jelly Gel, but Dustin Johnson. So he had said he was fully committed to the PGA Tour, wasn't going to be playing in it a couple weeks ago. And obviously money can change people's mind, because that's what happened. And DJ is on the list along with Sergio, who had the infamous clip from, I believe, was it down in Dallas the other week, or was it? I can't remember which tournament it was.
I think it was the tournament in Fort Worth. I think it was the Byron. Was it at the Byron?
I think Byron it was Nelson? When he had a ball and got a rules violation for taking too long looking for it, and pretty much said he can't wait to get the hell out of here. And
that's exactly what he said. That's a quote. So, I can't wait to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. So he obviously, no shocker there. He's in the field. Lee Westwood, Kevin Na, Louis Oosthuizen, Taylor Gooch. Taylor is somebody that you brought up earlier. I was kind of surprised by that, but I mean, if the money's guaranteed over there, I don't necessarily blame some of these guys for jumping ship on it. And then, do you want to talk about these guys? Do you want me to throw the other curveball and then kick it over to you, Gel?
I just really quick on Gooch. I mean, he's a top 10. He's at number 10 right now in the FedEx rankings. For his performance this year, he's been really solid, and he seems he's been a complete up and comer. Somebody that we've been kind of waiting on, maybe not quite in that Hovland, Xander, Burns crew, but maybe like the smallest tier right below them. Somebody that, again, he is 30. Which kind of surprised me. I thought he would be in the, he was mid-20s. He is 30 years old, but he's still, you still got 15, 20 years of golf in you there.
Oh, yeah. And then some after on the senior tour.
And he just seemed like he was ready to take that next leap into maybe not superstardom, but somebody that you have to definitely consider winning these PGA events. So I mean, the two biggest surprises for me were DJ, because he did say that he was committed, and Gucci Mane, Taylor Gooch. I just didn't see those things coming. I get follow up on DJ really quick. How much money do you think that he was offered to do this?
I can't even imagine.
I mean, are we talking like are we talking like 150 mil?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering.
You had to pay to get him.
Oh yeah.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe we segue here and we can bring it back.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk about with that, is because you take DJ off of this list and there really isn't a marquee guy. Yeah, Sergio, you tune in to watch mostly because is he going to blow up and freak out about something? But otherwise, the other guys are just kind of
the Saudis. You better be careful with your wording.
No, like Lee Westwood, Kevin. I mean, I'll watch Kevin Na try and walk in a putt from 30 feet or something. I mean, that's kind of entertaining.
That's his whole deal.
Otherwise, Louis Oosthuizen, I mean, he's a good golfer, but not really entertaining to watch. But I mean, they needed their marquee guy, and that is DJ right now, because the other huge news that came from this release was there's no Phil Mickelson on the list. Everybody was expecting his name to pop up on there, thought that maybe he was holding out and not playing on the PGA because he was going to end up playing on the Super Golf League, aka Live, but no Phil. So I think that was my biggest shock, at least from this. And that makes you wonder, is Phil gonna play any golf at all this year? Is he done? Like what is going on? I don't think he's done. I think he does have a lot of stuff he's trying to figure out right now. And obviously he needs to pick and choose what tournament he plays in, because that is going to be a lengthy press conference, because he has not spoken publicly since his comments from a couple months back. So
yeah,
what's your takeaway from this right now? Those were my two big shockers from this, was DJ in the field, Phil not in the field.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wonder if – I kind of sit here and wonder if they had all this money tied up for Phil, and when Phil decided to dip out, if they just said, okay, we'll throw that at DJ, and DJ's like, yeah, add an extra 50 million to that and I'll be in.
Add a zero, bud.
Like, I really wonder if that's how those negotiations went, because, I mean, DJ wasn't planning on going, but at least from what he was publicly saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wonder if for Phil now, because he's gone through some shit, like more shit than we've seen any golfer really since, I guess, the Tiger scandal from a decade plus ago.
Yeah.
This is the most shit that any golfer's really gone through, at least with, in terms of public humiliation, in terms of public, just the media trashing him because of his comments that he made. He dug his own grave on this. And I wonder if he's like, you know what? This probably isn't worth the money. I need to start my redemption tour now. Because I wonder if he's going to start playing in the PGA again this year and try to start that tour, or try to start that redemption tour, because if there's anything that's almost guaranteed in America, it's that we are willing to give a second chance.
Yeah.
And Phil is somebody that, maybe he's saying, let me start this, start playing again, say all the right things in the media, do, press conferences and say, you know what, what's the word? Foot in my mouth, whatever that phrase is. Put my foot in my mouth and said these things. It wasn't right. I don't, I've thought about more of what I said, and I'm ready to dedicate myself back to the PGA Tour. I apologize to Jay Monahan, the PGA commissioner. I apologize to anybody that, I've offended here, and just start there. I apologize to any of the players on the tour, and, that maybe didn't agree. I know Tiger came out and said that Phil said a lot of things that a lot of people don't agree with. So you've got Tiger out there saying that Phil stepped in it and that he doesn't agree with anything that Phil was saying. There's other golfers that have supported him. So maybe, Phil comes out and starts saying all the right things, and maybe he gets invited back on the tour, because the commissioner, Jay Monahan, did say anybody that plays on this tour, you're done. But Phil never played, and maybe Phil just goes to Monahan and says, look, I effed up. I'm ready to commit myself to the tour. Let me know when I'm invited back. And then he does his press conference tours, answers all the questions the right way, and hopefully gets back on the course if he's ready to dedicate himself back to the PGA Tour.
Yeah, for me, I'm
just trying to think positively here.
No, for sure. I'm just still trying to debate which way he's going to go on this, because I just wonder, is he actually going to play any golf this year? He's missed out on his two biggest tournaments of the season, the Masters, which is any golfer's biggest tournament of the year, and the PGA Championship. He's was the defending champion until JT won it. And obviously he wants to stay on top and win that tournament and retain his title there. And yeah, you've got two other majors coming up. The big one, I guess, will be the elusive US Open, because
that's what I was going to bring up. Do you think any chance?
So if he doesn't play in the US Open, I don't think we're going to see Phil again this year. I really don't. This is the tournament that has been the one that's gotten away from him.
He's got the other three majors. He's working on that career Grand Slam.
Yep. And this is the one that you've seen the clip that he got pissed at the one year, and the ball kept rolling because the greens are so fast, and he just ran up and just smoked it back towards the hole and took a penalty stroke stuff. So yeah, no, I guess thinking now, just kind of spitballing here, the US Open, this will be key, I think, for him if he's going to end up playing any golf this year. And
yeah, I think I don't have much more to add on that. I think that if he, like you said, if he does play this year, he has to start here, because the British, I don't know.
I mean, British, it's St. Andrews, but even so, he's won that tournament before, so it's not.
And maybe
as big of a deal, but he doesn't have too many more shots at a US Open. I mean, let's face it, he's up there in age.
Was he 52?
He's against all odds right now. I mean, yeah, 51 or 52, because you have to be 50 to play on the Champions Tour, and he's been playing on it.
He's 51,
the last two seasons. So, yep. And I guess real quickly before we transition over to some NFL here, Jay Monahan, it seemed like, at least from his comments, sticking to his guns here and saying that anybody that goes and plays over on the LIV Tour is not welcome back on the PGA Tour. And we've got some golfers now that we've got names to the faces. There's been rumor that guys are going to jump ship and go and play on that. Where do you see this ending? Is this something that Jay Monahan is going to end up holding to? I mean, it looks like he is now, but I don't know what ground necessarily he has to stand on with it. It sounds like some of the golfers, at least Greg Norman, we talked about in a previous podcast too, that were willing to fight it in court. So I don't really know. It'll be interesting to see where this ends up.
Which is, I think, fair that you could fight this in court, given that these players aren't under contract with the PGA. It's not like, Aaron Rodgers is. It's not like Rodgers could go play for the Packers and then like the next week go play in the CFL. I don't think. I'm pretty sure, because he's got a contract signed with an NFL team. These players are effectively independent contractors.
Yeah.
Where there's no salary in the PGA. They have to make their money by winning tournaments or competing in tournaments. So it seemed like this could be a pretty legitimate, like the live golf has a pretty good case to make, saying all these guys are independent contractors basically, and they should be able to make money wherever they want. I just don't think the PGA has much of a leg to stand on legally. And I think that could, and the combination of that and losing DJ. DJ is one of the bigger names in in the PGA. Just won the Masters a couple of years ago. So I think that I don't know. He's saying now that he's gonna stick to his word and enforce these rules. But if there's a pretty legitimate settlement or lawsuit that comes at him for this, or comes at the PGA for this, they might have to back down and say, okay, I take it back. I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And it'll be very interesting to see what ends up happening from this, because this could potentially make or break the LIV Tour. And if for some reason it does go to court and the courts rule in the favor of the PGA that you leave the PGA, you're done, or they say, no, you can do whatever you want to, you're going to see a lot more guys flip-flopping back and forth. So this is going to make or break, I think, the LIV Tour and how long it lasts for. So it'll be very interesting. Obviously, we'll be here to break it down when news comes out and talk about it and go with what our thoughts are on it and everything like that. So I'm excited to kind of see what the future holds for it. Speaking of future, Aaron Donalds is up in the air right now, and he is at peace with that. So right now he does not have a new contract and said he is content that if he doesn't end up getting one, he's going to ride off into the sunset essentially. And yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, arguably one of the best defensive players of our lifetimes, and be very interesting if he was no longer around, but we'll see what the Rams have in store for him.
I just can't imagine him walking away. He said I don't know about the timing of all this. He said that he had always planned on playing 8 years before retiring. Shocker. He just finished up his 8th year and he wants a new contract. Like, who knows how true that 8-year mark actually is. I just feel like it's all just kind of a negotiating tactic, which I'm fine. Go get your money, man. You deserve every penny you can get. But it's not like he's been underpaid. He was the first defensive player to make over, I think maybe pass rushers excluded, but I think he was the first defensive player to make over 20 million a year when he signed his last contract. Now, I think he's due more than that now, more than his current contract, which again, not a cheapie. It's not like he's playing, for charity over here. So I think it's in the Rams' best interest. Give him a 2-year, $55 million fully guaranteed and go from there. But I think that's worth it to the Rams. And that would definitely be worth it for Aaron Donald to then be making that kind of money. And know, okay, we got him for 2 more years, and then he can reevaluate. But he's still the most dominant defensive player in the league, even at this age, which again, he's only been in the league for 8 years. So it's not like he's a dinosaur. He's about Patrick Willis age when Patrick Willis retired, but he's better than Patrick Willis. And he's actually on a winning team, where Patrick Willis spent a lot of his career on some of the years with the Niners were good, but it's not like when he retired, the Niners were at the peak of their powers. So I think the Rams just need to pony up, try to throw him a 2-year deal, fully guaranteed, give him a raise. And then at that point, he'll be in his 30s, I guess low 30s, and both sides reevaluate them. But you can't lose Aaron Donald coming off a Super Bowl.
No,
especially the way that this division is right now, how in flux it is. We don't know the situation on the Cardinals with Kyler, how long he'll be there, or if he'll be there. We don't know the situation on Trey Lance, if he's any good. And the Seahawks are going to be their worst. It's pretty much a fact that they're going to be it's going to be the worst team that the Seahawks have had since they drafted Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So, and also signed Matt Flynn.
Great signing.
Yeah, right.
No, I agree completely with that. You throw him a small year deal I'd even go 3 there. You're not wasting any money there. He's still going to be just as productive as he is now outside of some sort of injury, which he's been relatively healthy his entire career. So I don't see any reason why they can't offer him a 2-3-year deal, give him the bag.
Dude is a six
and
pack.
move on.
And he's 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Can't let that guy walk.
No, not at all. Other guys looking for contracts too, potentially maybe. I mean, we've got some holdouts from OTAs right now that haven't showed up. Debo, Lamar, Kyler finally reported to the Cardinals after a little hiatus there. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't look into too much. I mean, historically, he hasn't.
No, he's out. Just, I mean,
he's out golfing, playing in the match.
Yeah,
I mean,
playing in the match. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I mean, he got paid more there than probably any sort of fine he would get for missing anything. So
there was a nice little jab last night during the match, live on a Thursday. Match was live on a Wednesday. From Josh Allen saying, "Oh yeah, you can hit that shot when you're skipping OTAs." That was pretty good.
Nice, I like it. But no, are the Debo Lamar concerning at all for me? Not really. I mean, both guys. Lamar is on his contract year right now. Debo wants a new contract. Both guys are familiar with the system that they're in. I don't really see any issue as far as is this going to hurt them during the season at all? As long as they're doing their conditioning, what they need to, I don't really see any issue with it at all for me.
The Debo one, I think that was obvious. That was pretty much expected.
Yeah.
The Debo holdout, no issue there. I think that that's just negotiating for sure with Debo. He wants either a new contract or a new role. That's been the story since the beginning of the offseason. So I got no red flags there for Debo. That's, like I said, that's to be expected. But I thought the Lamar one was a little bit. I can't exactly put a pin on exactly why Lamar is sitting out. It sounds like from what the Ravens are saying, from what ownership and their GM is saying publicly, they want to give Lamar a contract. They're ready to go. They're ready to start these talks, and Lamar, for some reason, isn't really interested in it. So I don't know if that means he's got an issue with the organization, or if he does want to just become a free agent and get the biggest payday in NFL history. It could be both of that, or if he's just like, look, I'm under contract. I don't really feel like going to OTAs. We can figure out the negotiation part while I'm also not at OTAs. I can't figure out the Lamar piece, if it's a negotiation thing or if it's just, I don't really want to go.
Yeah, no, I don't know necessarily what is going on there. Like you touched on, he doesn't have an agent at all. So I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Obviously, these two sides are going to meet on some sort of contract, and he's not going anywhere with the franchise tag either. So, I mean, there's no way the Ravens let him walk. That's a good point. Yeah, so
that's true.
I don't really see it as a huge deal right now. I think he obviously wants a contract. I don't know that he's necessarily in any rush to as well. I mean, obviously he wants to get a long-term guarantee going out so he doesn't have some career-ending injury or anything like that. But I don't really see it as a huge deal right now. Again,
but why do you say that you know that he wants a long-term deal? Why haven't these contract talks progressed? I agree with your logic that he should want it, but he hasn't shown apparently he hasn't shown anything to the Ravens. The Ravens are saying, like, look, we're not even talking contract right now. And the Ravens side wants to, but Lamar is the one holding out. So I'm sitting here wondering why. And if he had an agent, there would be more talks, obviously. But I wonder if that's why he never has hired one, because he wants to dictate his whole everything, which commendable as long as he does everything right. But I don't know if he necessarily, it's hard to say that he for sure wants a long-term deal. Otherwise, you'd think they would have one done by now.
Yeah, unless every year so far we've seen guys get paid. I mean, Josh Allen had the huge extension, what was it, last year? And maybe he's just kind of waiting to kind of see and have that market build up a little bit more so that way he can be the top paid quarterback when it's all said and done. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's waiting for the Kyler situation to see what ends up happening there and see if he gets an extension and then try to top that. I don't Guess
And
I'm not really sure on his logic.
he better top whatever Kyler gets because he's far more accomplished than anything
yes.
Kyler's done.
Yes.
Not that either of them are any good in the playoffs so far, but Lamar does have an MVP, a unanimous MVP. That's something that most players don't have. So, and he's obviously the best chance that the Ravens hanging on to any sort of success going forward. So I don't know. I'm not saying that I think Kyler has an issue with the organization, but I sit here wondering why he's sitting out and how long is he going to sit out of these negotiations? Because if he gets that tag, let's say he gets that tag, he's going to get about 30, probably upper 30s in terms of a payday. Then the next year would be that transition tag where he would, I think that salary jumps like 20%. It's like 120% of the franchise tag salary, something like that. So that would jump him up into like the $50 million range. And then he becomes a free agent. So I wonder if he's just going to, wait it out and up until after year 7, till then he's a total free agent at that point. Although I think you can tag somebody twice, then it's transition.
Twice, yep.
And then it's the transition tag. So either way, I mean, he's going to get paid one way or the other, but unless him being a running quarterback and how many hits he takes,
it's
risky. I mean, I think it makes sense for a guy that's, more of a traditional pocket passer, takes a lot less hits to do that kind of a strategy. But the way he runs the ball, he was already hurt last year too for a number of games. Risky business, but if he wants to do it, I mean, I guess more power to him, but God, that's a big risk to take.
Joe, I got one more surprise for you here before we close out. We're running a little bit long, but something that's been going through my mind recently. I'm going to give you a list of 3 players, and I want you to tell me which one you're keeping in a redraft league. I wanted to throw some fantasy in there, trying to get excited about the season. It's upcoming. We got a couple drafts coming up here. So I want you to tell me the player that you're going to keep, one that you're trading away, and then the other one you're cutting.
Keep, trade, cut. Let's go.
Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick.
Sheesh.
All 3 Bronco wide receivers with a new quarterback coming in.
Well, we do know that Jerry Jeudy was his case was dismissed.
Dropped, yep. So no issues there.
We're thankful on that. I think, oh God damn it.
Right.
I don't know who I want to, it's hard to say who I want to cut. I mean, I think that the easy answer right out this is redraft.
Yep. Yeah, not dynasty, because I think dynasty would be a lot.
That's a completely different question. Yeah. I guess I'm keeping. Fuck. I wonder if. Okay, I'm just gonna blurt this out.
Okay.
Keep Jeudy, trade Sutton because I think you can get the most back for Sutton, and then cut Tim Patrick.
Okay. And see, for me, for redraft, I'm on the exact same page with you with Cortland Sutton. I think he's the one that could bring the most value back. And so now I'm down to Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy with the keep and the cut. And I don't know, for whatever reason, Tim Patrick has just been pretty solid. Like his whole time there, whenever one of Sutton or Jeudy is out, Tim Patrick ends up tending to step in. So he had
a really good year last year.
I think I'm just going to keep him and cut Jeudy. Jeudy just hasn't been consistent at all, hasn't done a whole lot since he's come into the league. I don't know if that was due to his expectations or what, but I don't know.
I mean, it could also be due to his quarterback.
It could be, but we've seen production from Sutton here and there too. And Tim Patrick is, would you say Tim Patrick's outproduced Jerry Jeudy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
100%.
Same quarterback. So
I just think we're in year 3 of Jeudy. He was a first round pick for a reason.
Yeah.
Hot for top half of the first round. I just like the potential of Jeudy. I mean, okay, if you were drafting today, who would you draft higher, Jeudy or Tim Patrick? Because
Probably
Judy's
Judy's
ADP is going to be way higher than Tim Patrick's.
Judy's going higher, but I would be very tempted to pick somebody else in that range outside of Jerry Jeudy.
Okay,
I'd like to see who
probably
else was there, because Jerry Jeudy would probably be like, okay, I've got dog shit running backs or shot in the dark tight end. Otherwise, there's got to be other wide receivers that I would take over Jerry Jeudy, I think, at this point in time.
But, for sure. But let's say it was down to your Mr. Irrelevant last pick of the draft.
I mean, Judy's not making it.
I know that.
Okay.
But I'm just throwing out this scenario. There's one pick left in the draft and you need a receiver. Who are you taking? Tim Patrick or Jeudy? Are you taking Tim Patrick?
I guess probably not, just because Jeudy has potential to blow Tim Patrick out of the water. But if I had a bunch of guys that already were pretty risky, I think it'd probably go with Tim Patrick. So I think it would kind of depend on how the team was made up.
So you could probably say Tim Patrick is more reliable for steady production. Jerry Jeudy has the potential to win you a week. Ball out though.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. I think I'm with you there.
Okay.
That's why I keep Jerry Jeudy and cut Tim Patrick. Not that I want to have that every day or, every week player being a hit or miss potential kind of guy. I hate that type of a player generally in fantasy, but if I need but it's also good knowing or thinking or having the opportunity to sit there and say, Jerry Jeudy could, like, I'm in a tough matchup, or a ton of my top players are on buys. I'm going to need, for me to have a chance to win this week, I'm going to need a receiver to ball out. And that's where Jerry Jeudy jumps into the fold more than Tim Patrick does.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents. So that's why I'm probably going to keep Jeudy, trade Sutton, and let Tim Patrick go. Now, I wouldn't love letting Tim Patrick go because, like you said, he is going to be that reliable however many points a week. But I like the upside there for somebody that's going to be on my bench for the most, at least in a redraft, hopefully on my bench.
Yep. No, that makes sense. It's one of those receiving cores that I'm just like, it's interesting, because you could pretty much make a case for any of these guys to be any of those keep trade cuts. So it's
for sure. No doubt. And I was debating with Sutton too. Do I just let him go? Cause I wouldn't want to cut Sutton, but
yeah, but that's the thing too. Like with these three, Sutton's the one that you could probably get the most back in return for a trade. Right. Tim Patrick, nobody's excited to trade for him, and Jerry Jeudy hasn't done a whole lot, so his trade value is very low right now. So
yeah.
Yep. All right, so that will wrap up this episode. We can be found at Dead Arm Sports, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out on Facebook at Dead Arm Sports. Gel can be found at Das Gel. I can be found at Das JPEG. Send us in any questions, comments, concerns you have about the show.
Live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Get notification when we go live, so that way when you have fantasy questions, you can ask us. Or if you have any other topics that you want us to talk about, sports related, not sports related, whatever you want, send us a message on the chat.
Question of the day, bring them on.
Yeah, question of the day. That sounds like an awesome idea. So send us in whatever you want. We're monitoring that chat for our entire live broadcast, so we will answer your question. Subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite listening platform. Send us a screenshot of that review. Get you some sticker swag sent out in the mail. Besides those that I listed off, Joe, where else can they find us at?
Hit us up on our presenting sponsor, Anchor, both on the web at Anchor. Just by searching Anchor.fm, or on your Google Play or Apple App Store. Search Anchor. You will find it there. Great listening tools. And also, for any of you other podcasters out there, great podcasting tool, great recording, editing, everything. That's where we do all of our recording, or all of our podcast business, basically. and so it's a great editing tool. They allow us to also present this out to you guys for free. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Pods. Again, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. Just search Dead Arm Sports when you're on YouTube. Make sure to check us out live. Once you subscribe to that channel, turn on alerts, turn on notifications. You will get a notification then when we do go live. So you can just hop in, take a listen to us. You'll be able to hear the content about 12 hours early from when it's released on the pod. And you can also interact with us on that live chat as well. So lot of good opportunities for us to hit for us and the listeners / viewers for us to all be in touch and get a feel for what you guys want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Appreciate everybody out there listening to us, watching us, whatever you are doing. Appreciate you sticking with us through our little hiatus as well. So appreciate that. We've got content pouring out here the next couple of weeks before Jill and I are on a slight vacation again. But who knows? Maybe we'll get a live episode. We'll see if we're in the same room recording. We'll see what
we can crank
has
out
in store. So, but no, appreciate everybody out there. If you could tell somebody that you know, shout out your car window, whatever you would like to do, get the word out, gets us out there, get you even more content than we're already bringing to you. But that will do it for today. We'll be back with you next week and have some fun topics for you, break down some news, talk Memorial recap, and Jill, close her out.
Live for the first time on YouTube on a Thursday.
I like it.